Ah, nice.
Nice.
Huh.
If we do move the town, how do we explain the buildings will be the same? Is there a way to move? We can absolutely move the morgue location.
Yeah,
That-
what we know as the morgue could now be the bar, and the bar could now be the morgue.
Or
It
we
could
could take
absolutely be different.
Yeah, we could take the morgue and put it out at Teepee. That is a question for the players. Yeah. We could build a morgue at the Hanging Tree. These are some of the concepts that that we're coming here to set up. And one of the things,
Stephanie, you live in Crystal Creek. I don't know what you're expecting.
one of the things to kind of look at with the Google Doc that we have, I stuck an example underneath the first question. Go in there and kind of record your thoughts on what you want.
Or if you think there's an important topic that needs to be part of the very base of the chapter, like the foundation of the story, then add that. We have this to where you guys can edit it specifically so that you can put your input on a document so we don't lose it in the maelstrom of voices.
Yeah.
That's a good way to describe it.
I thought so.
Yeah.
No, the wasteland is on the list in the document, Jen. I don't know if you can get to it because sometimes you're on phones. I jumped ahead of questions. Sorry, that was the first one I saw.
Yeah, this is, like I say, this is you helping us create the world. I want to know the world that you want to have. Was a possibility of a necropolis popping out nearby? I mean, hey, does everyone want a necropolis nearby?
To backtrack a little bit, Graham, I'm not sure if you heard, we are going to be allowing strains. There's just, as far as banned and restricted strains, as Krista mentioned, there will be roleplay and costuming restrictions that might make it a little bit more difficult starting out. But you will be able to play Saltwise in the Riverlands, depending on how the town hall goes, will depend on how difficult it is to play them.
Okay.
If I phrased that right.
Yeah. Let me clarify question 2. While I would love for them to build more physical in reality locations, we can't control that.
And we also can't count on it.
Yeah. This is more in-game town size. When I originally created Crystal Creek, this was a town that usually had about 400, 450 people in it, and during a trade weekend might swell up to about 600 people. It was a pretty small town. With the 3.0 jump, we have the possibility we could turn this into a very large town, and the area that we are playing in is just one section of the town. Crystal Creek could grow to a town of 5,000. And some of these other factions, players in the future could decide, hey, we want you to come live with us. You can go live in another section of town that is off screen. That was what we were looking for when it came to town size and standing in the Riverland, which is question 2 on the mod document. The ability to change the town, the size, the number of people. If there are some of these factions that during the 3-year jump you're saying, hey, I want these factions to be a part of this town now, we can do this.
My favorite cookie is white macadamia nut, like white chocolate macadamia nut. That's my favorite. That was a question. I'm not just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I saw the question. Will hard anti-scion plot still be a thing? Do you guys want it to be a thing? One of the things that I've seen in the book is no longer pushing a hard anti-scion angle. Do you want to keep the anti-scion angle? Do you want to, within the 3-year jump, have a story written of how scions have managed to prove that they are an asset to the world and should be treated as such and should be treated equally? That is that's a question that we can add as question 5, which is scion setting or anti-scion views. Um, let's see. Okay. I like the idea. Crystal Creek will be a very primitive and warlike area, making a high amount of wastelands. That is the next question after the town size and standing in the Riverlands. We will get to that. I think Krista can probably answer JJ's question better than I can.
Building spaces in front of me in the cards. Okay. So we haven't seen all of the stuff yet, obviously, but as far as I can tell so far, the workstations will be provided by the chapter. They will probably have area of mechanic effects, and that stuff will be displayed on the actual flat surfaces of the workstation. So the mechanics of the workstation will be on the hard surfaces. And as far as I can tell so far, there won't be any personal workspaces. But most of the requirements for these things, we have the space requirements. The only requirement you guys have is to be fully involved, which indicates both hands being involved in the task and not using any other skills or anything like that.
Is a war happening or something?
Jenny's a new player.
Okay. Come August, yes, there is a war plot that is happening. There's also stuff that will be dropped that will give a reason for how things may have changed during the wasteland, and there's more stuff that we have ideas for and concepts for that we are working on. With the workstations and such belonging to the public works now, would it be possible to end player-owned existing end/limit player-owned existing buildings? I mean, that is
Player-owned buildings is an in-game thing.
Sorry, I got excited about. Yeah, it's an in-game thing, but yeah, that's something that may change in game. Sorry, I got excited about building a more. Hey, I want you excited about building. And if you want us to come up with a great storyline for building a brand new Morgan game, by all means, I will. Well, I can't say I. We will do this. Hell, if I can even get a couple of cents that I'm looking for, I will make it a smelly, slimy experience, and it will be great. How is the economy changing? Oh God,
It's less about having stacks of cards and more about using them.
Yeah.
That's the simplest way that I think we can word it, unless Dave or Truett have some insight that I missed.
No, that is as far as unless Truett does something else, that is a very succinct way.
So, just a little bit to add on to that. As far as the economy changing, not only is it changing from a focus on storing resources, and its focus is changing from that to spending the resources, but with that, a lot of the items are having extended expiration dates compared to what they used to have in order to reward players long-term upgrading of an item instead of going, I have to make this mastercrafted the first time I get it, otherwise I'm not getting my bang for my buck.
Let's see. Oh yeah, I guess I'm not putting in the. How will the different crafting areas be distributed? We are in concept, but also this is something that we will absolutely take your input for. Right now, so far, I have the forge like 2/3 of the way done. I will give pictures as soon as I can. We're looking at the culinary and brewing crafting station remaining inside the kettle bottom. And like I say, these are initial concepts, so if you decide you want these to change, we can. The workstations, the forge, the work table, all that stuff would be out at the boathouse pavilion. Because there are I do need an area where there is a power source because the forge will be powered. There are lights and stuff that I have to have power for in order to really make the ambiance work.
Yep.
The farming stations. We hadn't really come up with a great idea of where to put that. Initially, we were talking about putting the farming station up at Broken Arrow.
The farming station will probably end up on a tree line somewhere grassy. Probably somewhere close to the Kettle Bottom or close to Jeffrey House, because those are the most centralized.
Yeah. The second idea that we had was, putting it behind Jeffrey House. And if we decide that, that our current morgue is not going to be a morgue anymore, then hell, we could put the farming area right outside that.
Mm-hmm.
So that people would have a shaded area to go and kind of sit, in amongst their farming. Let's see. Will the provided crafting areas have a tax to use? That is a... Or nope, sorry, I missed one. What is the biggest difference between 2.0 scavenging for herb and scrap to the new 3.0 version? 3.0 has a whole lot more skills where you're going to be able to spend mind to get specific resources. The scrounging, which in 3.0 is going to be foraging, you will basically use that to gather up basic herb and basic scrap. Curtis had brought up an interesting question, and this is probably something else that needs to be stuck in the document: is do we want to continue using scrounge pods?
That's going on a survey.
Okay, we have that. I'm sorry, we have that on a survey. Do we want to use scrounge pods, or do we want to just go back to putting cards out?
No, you can't tax the crafting areas because nobody can build their own. So that will be something that will have an out of game limit on people being able to tax them, even if it's in their in game territory.
How will toyetics work with crafting? Will you have to make an item for each thing you craft?
The crafting stations will have things for you to role play with. Some of them are going to be quite a bit more than you're used to seeing. But you're also encouraged to bring your own things. So if you do a craft on the side, like let's say you make chainmail, and you're going to play a tinker, bringing some of that to mess with while you're at that workstation would add to the space and give you something really that you are enjoying and good at. If that makes sense. Like you're not just banging around on some metal pieces that we have provided, you're actually crafting a thing. If that did not make sense, please message me. Sorry, David.
Can we have a crafting area in the wastelands as well for those of us who want to be spending the majority of time in those areas?
I mean, I can just go ahead and say I am not building a second farming station.
I was getting ready to say the amount of our budget that we're putting into some of these crafting toyetics, it will not be anytime soon that we would even be thinking about building a second set of stations. Like I say, I have the forge right now. You will be able to see what looks like fire. We should have an anvil where if you decide you want, can make, we're doing stuff where you will be able to look like you are actually creating stuff if you do not bring your own things that you want to create. Oh no, you're coming in August, which means you're going to be in the middle of the war. Yes, you will be in the middle of awesomeness, and we will make sure you have an awesome time.
And you'll get to die, and it's going to be great.
Is there a possibility of for any of the current face NPCs existing beyond the time skip? Absolutely. We have that as part of the survey, and everyone is able to put in their input as to whether or not they want this face NPC to come back, or if they're like, hey, I think their story is done, and they can go off into the wilderness. Okay, Chris has already done the access to the Google Doc. For not having to build new tables and repair them, and such, can we remove the in-game tax for usage? I think Krista answered that. We're one of the things also in the survey is going to be factions. The Crescent Wrench Guild. Do they still need to be around, or is this something where, hey, that was good in concept, but Crystal Creek has outgrown the need for a Crescent Wrench Guild? The Iron Tusks, do we, hey, if overwhelming players are like, we're cool with the Iron Tusks being around, but we're not cool with them being a big, huge organization that we feel like has considerable influence over the story. We want them to be smaller in scope, or we want them to go away completely. Once again, this is you helping us create stuff. So yeah, like factions and stuff, we very much want your input
on. Yes, Curtis, everything should end up having its own space. We're going to spread them around with the post office / public works station being the center. Hunting stations? Am I missing something, Beth? Do we have a requirement for a hunting station as well as a farming station?
No, we originally talked about part of our farming station including a butchering stand, but then we were specifically told not to do that.
Yeah.
Hunting is one of the only crafting skills that will not require a set area.
Okay, cool.
Well, that and fishing.
Did I just not hear the answer to that one? Or?
Beth was talking. Do you have Beth muted?
Nope.
Yeah, Beth gave that answer. Dave apparently didn't hear you.
I don't know why not.
I haven't heard any.
We can hear you.
Favorite pasta?
Gluten-free.
Multiple voice grave mine. Will that exist in 3.0? There is a story that will be coming out that is going. Okay, the grave mine is going to change the way we've been running it in Crystal Creek. That is one of the things that we have to do to bring us further in line as to with the other games in the network. So the multiple voice grave mine, as you know it currently right now, yes, that will. But there is one hell of a. There are evil ideas that I have getting it from where it is to where it needs to be that are just going to be great. Because in 3.0, you're going to have many more means, many more ways to interact with the Gravemind. And with that being said, the elevator's going away.
Oh, you had to drop that bomb on them.
See, will the Postal Vanguard be purely a local thing, or is any progress made in having it be Southern Triangle? Progress is being made. It is not finalized. We are actually we are working with people to make a whole lot of things exist in amongst multiple games.
That was so vague.
I mean, if Krista would like to go into more details on this, she has been spearheading a lot.
So the Postal Vanguard among the Southern Triangle, the idea has been accepted. We haven't worked out the details yet. So it will be a thing. It will be a society that all three of the chapters have. We just have to figure out kind of the details and the flavor of that thing. the other thing that we are doing with the Southern Triangle, with New Mexico, with Georgia, a lot of the games that we already see a lot of travel to is we are looking to go ahead and seed some of our factions in each other's setting so that when we do have cross plot, it doesn't feel like this random stranger group showed up and now we have to care about them because some visitors came in. They will already be a part of our setting, probably slightly different from the version back home because they have to fit our setting and not the setting they came from. But we're working on that together as a bunch of chapters who want to give you guys fun story. The survey will probably go up tomorrow. I didn't have all of the data for the questions that we wanted to ask until we had this first town hall. So once we're done with the town hall, I can kind of look at the notes and talk to everybody and get the survey out. The survey is going to be the more organized version, Eric. So I'm 3 steps ahead of you, like normal.
Dog's head is going to be a thing. I mean, even if they get rid of it, I think that there is starting to be enough interest in Dog's Head that we would still like to keep it around, at least in our local area. How does everything having its own space make our game better? Are you referring to like the crafting stations or?
Yeah, I mean, you won't have to hear crafters banging around in your kettle bottom anymore.
Well, so I can actually answer this if y'all want me to take this one.
Sure,
Go for it.
absolutely.
So one of the big drawbacks to the 2.0 crafting system was the limited working space as well as the isolation, because instead of having a crew work together to make a big crafting station, you had a lot of crews making 1 to 2 seat crafting stations in their little area in the neck of the woods. So with this new crafting station, what this is going to do is it's going to allow multiple people to use the crafting station and role play together instead of being, oh, I'm the printer, so I'm just going to sit over at the printing table by myself and print. Or, oh, I'm working on this, my crew's armor. Well, I've got to go to the crafting bench by myself and work on it all day. This is going to encourage crafters to work together, to talk together, as well as crews to work together, because all your resources are in a pot in this area. And if something attacks, that's bad for all of you.
Let's see. Krista and Beth would know more about how big the farming area is going to be.
Yep. The actual pieces will probably be a couple of feet wide at the largest. The whole area will probably be about 10 by 15 square. No, we will not actually be able to dig, but we will have boxes for you to dig in. Like, you won't be able to dig in the physical dirt. That's one of the things that we sign a contract with the campsite, is that we cannot actually dig their dirt. But we will have dirt for you to dig in. It just can't be theirs.
Yeah. Can you talk about how the grave mine will change in 3.0? Can we possibly expect fight scenes in the grave mine considering some of the skills?
We had fight scenes in the grave mine before 3.0.
So, scenes that happen in the grave mine, one of the biggest limits on that is going to be the amount of people in that scene. We're not going to be able to have a group of people that are going to be able to go to the grave mine in its current location. There are things like the Sunless Garden that has been tested out at a couple of games, and there are several powers where you are going to be able to go into the grave mine, especially after your character's friends, loved ones, stuff like that, and be able to affect their scenes. The living will be able to affect the recently departed and potentially go and save them. Save them, or at least lessen the consequences that may happen. But the grave mine, The grave mine as a third-party manifestation that you were able to have a talk with.
What? Sorry, not you, Dave.
Oh.
Truett just randomly got it from his desk and stormed out.
The grave mine as a third-party manifestation is, going to be changing to something that is more within the mind or collective minds of the people who die. Valley of the Misery Machine, I believe, had a very good write-up for what happens when a character dies. And I realize for those of you who have been playing for a very long time, this is probably the third or fourth iteration of how the grave mine has changed. And for that, I apologize, and I can't really do much to change that.
Sorry, not sorry, because it's not our fault.
Will the public go to get? Oh wait, no, I'm sorry, I skipped way ahead. Do we know how many people can work at a workstation at a time? As far as I know, the only limit is if you can be fully engaged, which is both your hands working on what you are working. The book gives a better definition exactly of what full engagement. Wait, all resources explain. I think I may need an explanation for that.
As far as the resources go, I think what Truett meant was if you have 4 different groups all working on the workbench, all of the resources for that project are in one place and not in everybody's separate little workbench. No, they're not stored there. But just like in 2.0, when you're working on a project, you have all of the resources for that project to be able to do it, and you lose it if you go into bleed out. Same idea.
Is the bar staying? Do you want the bar to stay?
You're still skipping ones, love.
That's up to players.
Yeah.
I'm looking at thumbs up, and I'm seeing thumbs
Yeah,
up.
because people are thumbs upping the questions. You have to look and see who's thumbs upped it. If I didn't thumbs up it, it hasn't been answered.
Good lord.
Yep. What are we doing?
Let's see. Do we have a system in place for groups to try and block others from using the areas by force?
They have a discussion with me, and then if it happens again, they get a player warning.
Is the bar staying? Yep. We kind of do you want the bar to stay? Then by all means, we could. I would like for the bar to stay.
Please,
I think the bar is nice.
Please.
I think that players have done phenomenal things. Ashley, Curtis, David, everyone
Oren.
has Oren,
Yeah.
Stephanie, you name it. There's probably so many more people I'm forgetting have done
And I'm
phenomenal
pretty sure
things.
Having a bar in an air-conditioned area is the sole reason we're all so hydrated.
Yeah. So yeah, I would love for the bar to stay, but hey, that's just me, and I'm one person.
If you guys want to keep the bar but move it somewhere else, that's up to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it fits through the door.
Yeah. As long as the bar fits through the door.
I'm just saying, if we flirt with the grave mine, it could be chill.
That's
Actually,
happened.
by all means, I would love to run the scene, or would love to run the scene where you decide to flirt with the grave mine.
Nothing bad will happen.
Nothing can go wrong.
Will the public be able to get more information about the Sunless Garden after downfall? So, hell, we still have to get more information about the Sunless Garden.
Right?
The Sunless Garden is going to be a thing. I have read over what is going on. I have read over the plot kit about the Sunless Garden. It is conceptually, it is awesome. In reality, it is going to be a little more difficult to implement, which is why DRLLC is requesting that we take the time to get a little more training on how to run this properly before just diving in and trying to do it ourselves. because the Sunless Garden can really it can make your role play absolutely phenomenal, or if it's run wrong, it can really just go over like a fart in church. But as we get more information about this, the public will get more information about the Sunless Garden. Most of it's going to be by experiencing the Sunless Garden. But once we get trained on it, it will be a part of games, and it will be a regular trade weekend thing. The Gravemind will be changing through story to get us closer in line to how other games run their Gravemind. Krista thumbed up that. Krista thumbed up that. Are room augments still a thing?
We haven't seen all the blueprints yet.
Yeah.
Like, even we haven't seen all the blueprints yet. It's not like hidden behind Blood Oath. We just haven't seen them.
What?
Probably because they're still writing them.
Yeah. They've written a bunch of them. They're still trying to finalize the layout. The blueprints are going to be stored. For those of you who don't know, they are going to be online for everyone to look at. We're not going to have this, secret stash of blueprints that you don't know what is out there, and only those of us who are employees know. Everything is going to be public. Everything's going to be transparent. You will be able to see every blueprint that is in the game. The Sunless Garden is a new and interesting means for players to interact during Gravemind scenes. It is very much allowing players to go in and like some things you can do. It's very similar to using currently Group Hug and Silent Observer. Through powers in 3.0, you will be able to take a group of people and go experience someone else's Gravemind scene. And through uses of like Resolve, you can spend your Resolve to do something to assist someone while they're in their Gravemind scene. That is just one aspect of how you'll be able to, a group of players can go in and affect what happens to someone while they're going through the Gravemind. There is a lot more to this, and but that's a little bit to whet your appetite. Any idea what our regional prints will be?
What are you looking at me for? You're the one who works with them. Y'all, he straight up just like turned around slow in his little chair and gave me the look like I was supposed to answer that question.
The regional prints are going away.
Yep.
We're not going to have them.
They will be replaced with local generics that won't necessarily have a mechanic that impacts everyone, but will be something that is very flavorful and fits our local setting a lot. You can still send them because they will be items. As far as I know, you'll still be able to send them across chapters, but they will only be craftable on our workstations in our town.
New blueprints will be seeded with story.
However, the initial...
Yeah, the initial ones is going to be too big of a group to try and seed that with story. That's going to be something where basically stuff will be discovered during the 3-year jump, but every year there will be more blueprints that will be released, and those blueprints will be released with a story attached. Potentially some kind of quest that you may go on in order to find or achieve this thing.
You know what, Dave?
Mm-hmm.
We accidentally sort of lied.
Okay.
I just reread. Jeff asked about regional prints as well. And there will be new creations that multiple chapters basically start working towards the same goal, and they receive the same mechanical print, and they will be the first ones to get that print, and that will also be plot based. And that's really all I know about how that works, so don't ask questions about that.
Will we be able to make local blueprints with director approval, like for a plot kit or something?
Yep. And you missed one by Curtis after this one.
Oh, okay.
Whoops.
I don't know enough to be able to answer that question right now. Like there are things that we can make, provided that we get that I can show it prior to game and kind of explain why this is necessary to happen, the scope of it, what's going to be, and having people at DR LLC look at these so that they can also weigh in and see how this may affect the entire network. So the possibility is there, but I think it's not going to be something that's going to happen very often. If we've been working towards something in game that is not technically plot, should we tell the writers?
What do you consider to be not plot?
I mean, if
plot is driven by NPCs, so if he's been working towards something as a PC.
Right, but personal plot requests exist. Those are still plot.
That is very, very real.
So, if we don't know about it, there's the potential that we can run something that may be contrary to what you have done in game. Because I'm assuming that players are not going to do stuff that would be outside the rules, but our flavor text may be of someone coming in and doing X and doing Y. So the more information that we have, it is always better. But that's a very muddy, very vague answer. Will non-NOAs or faithful patterns coming into 3.0 be able to keep their current religion if it is on their sheet come 3.0?
Coming soon? Mostly it's just because I don't know the structure of the transition mechanism. Like, I don't know if it's going to be a form that you fill in and then I put into a database, or if it's going to be you directly into the database, or some combination of those three. I don't know. So I can't answer that yet. Sorry. I don't think they plan on taking your faith away from you. I'm pretty sure they plan on you being able to keep whatever you want as you transition in. I mean, you can get you can purchase achievements during creation. So like, you should be able to keep it.
It may just come to a thing of, if it's not on your sheet come 3.0 transition, get a marshal to sign off on it.
Yeah, and then we'll put it in when we process sheets.
Since disease outbreaks are a thing now in 3.0, will there be a disease plot?
Caroline?
I don't know if I could stop Caroline from writing disease plot if I tried.
I get to make custom diseases, and there are mechanics for quarantine. You betcha.
No. Please, no.
As the collective doctors cry.
No more wither. Please.
So something worse than wither is what you're saying, Beth.
No, that was not what I meant. You guys are mean.
I'm not sure what you mean by the cult of Crystal Creek, Steph. Jeff, I don't know for sure. Like, don't put it in stone, cause, like, man, we get told 5 different things sometimes. Like,
yeah, we get told one thing and then a different thing the next week.
Yeah, well, like, it's not that bad, right? Like, a lot of the stuff has been good feedback changes, but like, let's say I missed a change, man, I'm behind. So like, currently I don't think there's going to be a lot of there's not going to be regional produce or anything like that. I'm almost positive of that one. And I don't believe they're going to be a lot of local prints. There might still be some. They might just be less common. I don't know.
They might be a lot more common.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Okay, I don't fucking know. You can't earn blueprints for the 3-0 jump unless you want to make that your story. You will be able to get them via the trade-in store. But that's literally all I can tell you about that because that's still behind the blood oath. We haven't seen all the item cards and all of the equipment stuff, so we don't know if meaty bits are still a thing or not. They still like the whole eat the rich thing up there in the Northeast, so probably still a thing. But I don't know for sure.
No, where iron's not strong anymore. 3 years of atrophy. They've raised very good questions about the lack of carry in the game.
I can address that one if you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
So one of the big things that 2.0 had that DR is going away from, and it's sort of why we have lineages now, is people choosing their strain based on their stats and not the roleplay. So a lot of people would pick a strain just because, natural one, for example. A lot of people would pick natural one just because that +1 to damage and not do any of the tribal play. So with the lineages, we have characters now that have the same set of stats amongst these three, but you get to choose your roleplay within them. And part of, I guess, all strains are being nerfed in a sense. I mean, if you look at it, every single strain is having some sort of removal of an ability or focus or things.
Or their mind is going down or their body's going down.
Or their infection.
Yeah. No, it's not strange to costuming because each of them have a statistic on, or not a statistic, but a bit of information for how you should roleplay. What do they do? Why do they do it? How did they come into this world? Why are they still going in this world? Things like that.
Okay.
Where are we at?
Card sleeves still the colored card sleeves? We don't know.
No idea.
That's probably going to be in some of the online material. A lot of the stuff that's not in the books because it's a logistical piece or something that could change. Like, let's say that for some reason Trump outlaws green card sleeves. Well, we're going to have to figure out something else. So that kind of stuff is going to be in online materials as opposed to in the book itself. And we still don't have any of those online materials. When you say point conversion, if you mean the trade-in store, that's still hidden behind the blood oath, but coming soon.
Is our regional changing?
Regional prints, I think.
I mean,
everything has to change to fit
all
the
prints
new
are changing.
Yeah.
I think in 3.0 there's going to be around 200 prints in game total. Will craft level factor in the trade-in value?
Blood oath.
Oh, are you talking? Okay, I was picturing stuff created in game, but no.
Yeah, that's part of the trade-in store, my love.
No, I was picturing stuff created in 3.0.
Oh, yeah,
I was thinking in-game,
yeah,
trade-in
no. That's
value.
a question about the point store, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So that's blood oath.
Yeah. Anything about the point store we can't discuss. Yes, Genjin players are gonna have to switch strains. Genjins are gone.
Oh man. Okay. Several people are typing.
Well, sorta. They became the new strain, didn't they?
Digitarians?
Yeah.
The Genjin players have to choose a strain that they'll have evolved into, essentially. Coming soon, Eric. Coming soon.
Yeah.
That's all you get.
That's a good question of how it will be explained in game.
Mostly from what I can tell, that's going to be up to the story that we craft together. And yes, as far as I know, Curtis will still be able to sell stuff for in-game money. It will still, of course, require an in-game item card. No, I do not know the details on that because I don't have that part of the system yet.
Community achievements. Can people start to put people in for them before the first game in September? I think you have to wait until we actually get into 3.0. Utilizing 3.0 rules.
Yeah, definitely.
Crystal Creek is getting a 10 note.
Yay! Finally!
We're not telling you what it looks like yet.
We don't know what it looks like yet. I'm not telling you what it's called yet.
We're not telling you what it's called either.
I'm horrible.
I know.
Eric, is that a question on assistance points or advanced professions?
And that's why assistance points. So confusing.
Just so everybody hears it verbally, please keep discussion in the discussion channel and questions in the question channel. I love you all. There's a lot of you. The assistance points, as you know them, is going away. What is going to replace them is coming soon. It's still in development.
I need to take a look back at the Google Doc and see what has happened there. So Wasteland, people are putting in their mid-size. You know what? Mid-sized is very different. Like, do you want the other side of the lake, to be wasteland area? Do you want everything to be wasteland except for Jeffrey House, Cattle Bottom, and leading up into Broken Arrow? Basically the common area games. Do you want nothing to be, or you want everything to be wasteland except for Broken Arrow? And these are kind of the specifics that we're going to want to know about the wasteland.
Yes, current assistance points are gonna be part of the trade-in that's behind a blood oath. God damn it. Quit asking me questions about trade-in.
Heather?
Heather's the artist who's designing our currency. She designed all the others.
Oh, okay. It's like, who is this Heather and why is she being mentioned?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I could see it definitely be possible to have the wasteland move. As people decide that they want to settle in civilized areas, totally story to where, through the increased traffic of players and the application of town laws in this area, this area has become more civilized, and that can totally happen.
One thing I saw though earlier was a question, or maybe I saw it on the doc, was a question of if you can have several little wasteland areas, or if you can mark an individual cabland as a wasteland area, and based on the design and the purpose of the wasteland area, beyond just how it impacts y'all and CVC, no, cannot do that.
Yeah, and doing that would get very, like, some of the concepts I have had people bring up to me is have the wasteland area start at the treehouse, that little wooded area, move through the parking lot behind the lake, and potentially run out to toward / near TP.
Then we will never ever have any photos out there.
But yeah, wasteland areas, especially when you're putting in comments that the more specific you can be, the better. And we will do our best as we opinion to put out the the popular theory of what should be and keep you updated as to, hey, this is what people seem to want Wasteland to be. Let's see. What is the purpose of it for achievements? Is it going to be like all Barton? Achievements are definitely worth a title. Are we able to? We're able to talk about it, right? Or are we not?
You can only talk about the ones that have been publicly released.
Okay.
Which means you probably don't know which ones there are.
No. Then on Facebook there are some that have been publicly released. If you do look at the bottom of a blueprint, there will be certain powers that can be done if you have that achievement. If you have that achievement, then whatever item you have gives you the ability to use that power. So, achievements are definitely worth the 10 XP to purchase. You can have your character, when you rewrite them, start with profession achievements. I don't know if players can start with the community achievements. I know employees like Chris and myself, all the employees, we cannot have community achievements at all.
Correct.
You can have multiple achievements, and yes, there can be more than one grave robber. By all means, start buying grave robber achievements. I'm pretty sure there's going to be interesting stuff.
Nothing will go wrong.
Let me go back and make sure. Okay. That's has everyone drank some water? Because you've been talking. Could probably use a drink. I'm drinking green tea.
I've got a lemonade.
I'm drinking water.
Multiple achievements, by all means. You can buy multiple achievements. Once we get into play, there will be story that you will go through to get achievements. Let's see. Will we know the achievements?
You skipped one.
Yeah. Could the Wasteland take over buildings during game? I don't foresee the Wasteland being a very quick thing, but as game goes through, and for a while there, for example, the treehouse, sometimes there'll be people in it, but there are portions of games where the treehouse sits there unused, and through neglect and through people not being there, that's something where I could see, okay, hey, let's run a storyline and have that start to become part of the Wasteland. But I don't really see a hey, gotcha, that's now Wasteland. It's not going to be a quick thing. It's going to happen. Well, we know the achievements before we create our characters, because clock's ticking on this Bloodlow stuff. The achievements are in the book.
Yep. Unless you were
Read
talking
the
about
book.
and the community achievements are there too. As for how you get the community achievements, I'm pretty sure there will be a system for that. It will either be tied with a database, or it'll be something we have to keep on the local website. Coming soon.
So
yeah, achievements start right now on page 137 of the book.
I'm going to give y'all a hint. Read the fucking book.
That's a great hint. Thanks.
Can we start with an achievement that previously had the title of an advanced profession, which is, I guess, what you're asking? Yes. You can totally start with, is there a max number of achievements? No, not that I know of. P to get them. Like I say, once we get into game, read the book. There is a whole procedure about how to go get an achievement. This is not just going to be I have 10 XP. I think I think I just want to add this achievement to my game. Are each achievements going to require separate 18-month leads?
Yes, they're going to require separate stories. So yes.
As far as I know, there are no hidden achievements. Is there a 6-month period between? Is there a 6-month period between buying professional achievements? That's also in the book. I don't understand what true it means. There are many days I don't understand what true it means, but no. Yeah, true it. You may have to answer JJ.
What? I don't know
So,
why I started this without
those
having the book open.
questions. Read the book. Literally, just read the book. It's in the fucking book. It'll answer your questions.
Oh. Sorry, I was removing gear. Yes, you can start with achievements. Achievements can be part of your character build.
Rebuild, not start.
Okay, yes. As you rebuild your character, you can build your character with achievements. Let's see. No, like correct me if I'm wrong, Jen. Let's see. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, true. But when I'm looking on page 137, where it says how to, basically, there's a minimum focus requirement of 6 months between when a participant purchases a profession show focus achievement and the next time they can submit a plot request to start a storyline. And hey, Krista put it on there.
Yeah, I was figured if they couldn't pull the book up, there we go.
Curtis, when you rebuild your character, you can build your character with a profession focus achievement. I'm trying to. I try very hard not to say advanced profession because advanced professions aren't don't exist in this game. What would my lore fictional literature fall on?
I don't know. The lores have descriptions. Have you read them?
Post-fall history.
Probably. Pre-fall history? You mean pre-fall history, right?
Yeah. Either, really.
That's fair. I suppose some fiction was probably written post-fall.
So, lores are going to be.
You skipped one.
Let's see how much can we rebuild on our characters? Can they be completely different name, strain, etc.?
Yeah, it's an XP pool. Do what you want with it.
Yeah.
You cannot recreate a dead character. True. Did we ever get an answer on retired but not dead?
I have not gotten the answer on retired yet.
Okay, so we don't know about retired ones, but if they have died, permed, blah, 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 you cannot remake those.
Let me see if I've gotten that answer yet.
Okay.
Are there any signs of lore learning? I don't understand that question.
Correct, Oren. If it's died or permed, doesn't care how they died. They could have choked on an apple.
Yes, Eric, there are lores. They are in the book.
Yeah, you can learn lores.
Oh, how you learn them? You learn them by getting the educated skill. Ta-da.
Yes. Yeah, with each level of educated between basic, proficient, and master, you can choose 3 more lores to learn.
A demonstration of how you would learn a lore?
Do you guys mean like RP requirements and time on how you learn a lore? You don't spend XP on them anymore. You automatically populate them. When you get educated, your brain just goes, oh yeah, I know these things now. Roleplay it how you want.
Yeah, the lores are not separate skills now.
I don't think we can expect any more lores, but I have been wrong before, so who knows what Michael would decide to do.
Yeah, lores are the way lores are going to be used. Previously, it was, hey, let me use educated, go to the library, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, write up 3 questions, and wait either a short amount or a very long amount of time to these 3 questions. And a lot of you wrote really, really freaking good questions. Like, there were several times I was going, holy shit, how the hell am I this? New lores, the new lores are going to be used to enhance. Say you're a doctor and you're performing an autopsy on a character who died from a mysterious disease. And as you are playing with this toyetic, body, chest, cadaver, phys rep, you are slicing into this. You're looking in there. You're looking through all this really, really, really gooey, messed up entrails, and you see in there a Ziploc bag with a envelope on there, and basically says, "Open if you have lore medical." And you're a doctor and you have lore medical, and you're going, okay, so open the bag. You open this thing, and that lore immediately is going to tell you something that applies to that scene right now. Those are how lores are going to work. It's going to be something that is immediately going to enhance the scene that you are in. It is not going to be a tool to try and find out stuff that, find out stuff that in some cases was beyond the scope of what we were supposed to know and what we were supposed to ask. Will unique creatures, enemies still be creatable? Oh yeah.
Speaking of that, Dave,
make horrible,
we need to
nasty
talk
things.
later.
There are times I lay up at night for different ways to create horrible things. And New Zed to be expecting.
Can I talk a little bit about mine?
Well, there's abilities to create New Zed. No, I'm not giving any hints or teasers because, well, there are some times I just don't want you to be able to prepare for them.
Dave, is your headset working?
Yeah.
I mean,
because I'm asking a question.
As far as I know, I'm lighting up.
Okay. Well, mostly I'm asking if the headphones parts is working because Truett just asked you a question and you blew right past him.
Testing.
Test.
No, he's talking over you guys. He can't hear you.
Well, fuck.
You're gonna have to send him questions and type, I guess, for a little bit.
Ask him if I can talk a little bit about that one Zed I've been working on for a while.
Truett wants to know if he can talk.
By all means.
Oh, he heard it. All right then.
Okay, cool. So, I have been working on a Zed for a long time, and what the fuck was that?
Was that me?
I don't know. I think that was the bot. I'm gonna see if it's hit a timer or something. Anywho, so a new Zed that I've been working on. I'm not gonna give you too much detail, but I've designed a story for this Zed, but the purpose of this Zed was to change how the players interact with the threat. So this new threat that I'm coming up with is going to change the players' tactics on how to deal with this threat on a level that most players don't get to. And you'll see it coming a mile away and dread it every second.
Let's see. If we make a new character for 3.0, can our old one become...
I mean, if you elect to retire your character, they become an NPC.
That doesn't necessarily mean that we will use them for story. There's a limit on... We've found that there are logistical issues sometimes with face NPCs that must be there for certain plots. If you've ever had a plot run that had so-and-so's lieutenant, that's because our face NPC didn't make it, and we had to still run the plot with a lieutenant or something, and not all NPC structure and stuff like that is easily translated like that. So you can retire it and say, hey, I don't mind you guys using this NPC. Doesn't mean we will.
Can we submit horrible creatures for the DR gods potentially use? But yes, by all means, send me. I love horrible ideas.
Dave eats horrible ideas for breakfast.
Now that doesn't mean that we won't put our own terrible spin on it.
Votes are now a thing, will there be more plots involving them? Yes, absolutely. I think right now the hang up we're having is a toyetic we can utilize in this that is up to our standard, that is going to be awesome for you guys to play with.
I'm working on that.
And we are still brainstorming this. We will always take more ideas. There we go, Krista.
What? So you can't. Yeah. So you have to buy non-attendance, Curtis. But there will be no more back buy. And there won't be buying additional XP or anything like that. They are separating money from XP as completely as possible. New style of psionics going to work. Read the book. Sorry guys, we've been going at this for like an hour and a half. So if you start hearing a lot of read the book, that's because it's in the book. And we want to make sure we talk more about setting stuff than we do about stuff that's in the book.
Yeah, this is less of a 3.0 discussion and more about 3.0 Crystal Creek as a story and a setting.
I agree, Jack.
How do society memberships interact with tiered influence skills and the associated achievements? I believe there is actually a section of the book that talks about how you can create a society as a player. It requires like 10 characters, I think, or something like that. You'll have to check the book, and I don't honestly know the page number off the top of my head. Sorry.
Enid, yes, you will see them. They are coming. Or, rather, you won't see them.
Let's see, when you say make a new character, you mean starting from scratch, right? Was told by New Mexico that a character had to be retired.
Only get 50 build a new tune to come in and see.
Oren, are you referring to when it comes time to rebuild your character for 3? More pirates. If you want more pirates, by all means, stick that in our doc. Give us that feedback. You want more pirates? Same thing with cryptids. Yeah.
Do you want me to answer the Oren question?
Let me answer Curtis's real quick because I actually know it. Curtis, we don't actually. I say I know the answer. We don't know yet. Currently, you have to actually attend the travel game to get the XP, and I'm pretty sure that will still be the case. But I haven't seen it in writing yet. But I'm 98% sure that you can't buy non-attending travel games. And then True wanted to know if you wanted him to answer Oren's question.
Sure. Damn it! Why is my...
Okay, so Oren, the way that it currently works in 2.0 is any character that is retired, the staff have access to as an NPC. Any character, even if like you played them once, you retired them, you decided, I didn't want to. You played it 4 games and decided, no, I'm going to retire this character and redo it into something else. Any character that is retired, staff have access to play as an NPC. Now, as far as the 3.0 conversion, for all existing characters and characters that were part of specific mechanics set by Downfall and things like that, basically that character's XP becomes a pool for you to build your new characters into 3.0, and you can change it however you want within the rules of 3.0.
Yeah, if you're going to do a custom faith cult, then please submit that in so that we can take a look at it. With the time skip, will this also mean the Zed and Raiders trade?
What do you mean by trade?
Yeah, I don't understand that one.
Will the Z we usually see change thanks to the time step and the chaos of that time? Maybe. Change instead of trade. Yeah, it's possible. I mean, like the mechanics of them are going to change. The descriptions, some of them are changing, some of them aren't. Blah blah blah.
Foig.
Yeah, sadly, I don't want to ruin a whole lot. So no spoilers there. Sorry, loves.
If you rewrite into something differently, can the old character become an NPC?
Without
I don't think we've heard mechanics for that.
3.0. So again, it comes down to we are very hesitant to make a face NPC out of an old PC. We are very hesitant. However, if you really think you have a great story, pitch it to us. We'll discuss.
Well, psionics remain stigmatized within the Riverlands after the times. If not, what prompts the culture shift? Do you like I say, this is one of the big things that I want input from the players.
Yeah, if you guys want psionics to still be a point of conflict, then we will absolutely keep that. But if you want it to fall to the wayside, then it will.
Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely a big portion of the story that we want you to help us create. If you still want, if you still want people, like if you still want people potentially hunting you and trying to assassinate you because you're using psionics, I can do that. But if you want psionics to be accepted and be a greater part of the Crystal Creek world and something that people have no issue with, I can do that too. What changes are you most excited for? God.
I'm excited for sailing mods. Me and my little pirate heart. Not that heart.
Yeah,
Different
I know.
I had to clarify for Jack.
I'm excited for the ability to be able to talk smack during combat.
Oh, that's good. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Combat is no longer going to be a cacophony of voices shouting. I can't wait to be able to talk smack during combat.
Honestly, and most people are going to look at me funny, my favorite change for 3.0 is the change in CVC. Considering I am a heavy CVC character.
Yeah.
I'm super stoked about asking consent before even like yelling type conflict. And I'm also excited that there's that research is no longer going to be as
frustrating.
Yeah. Because like Dave mentioned before, y'all ask some damn good questions. And oftentimes y'all ask questions that I don't have the answer for.
There, to pull back the curtain a little bit, there were a couple times where you either got you got an answer or find out in game. That usually was because we're like, wow, yeah, we can't really answer this one, so we're gonna stick this answer on because this goes so far outside the scope of the story that we're kind of lost in limbo.
No. Well, I can't hear him, Beth. I'm not a help.
I didn't figure you would be, because I figure you have him local muted.
I absolutely do.
Oh.
He's cutting out for me too.
Same for me.
Your headset might be dying, Dave. That might be why you're not getting any.
Well. Okay, so let me guess. I died during the answer to the research question I gave.
Well, you were cutting in and out.
Yeah, like we'll miss a word here and there.
Okay. Yeah, some of the times when you would get very short, very generic answers to some of your questions that were quite poignant, it was because we didn't have a good answer for it. Hey, how does the radiation transmission rate someone drinks 6 water relate to the inherent resistance based off of this strain? Wow. Yeah, don't know how to answer that.
I'm also excited for the new stories I'm going to get to tell.
Yeah.
Can we submit personal plot changes that happen during the 3.0 that become usable by the we always like stuff. Yeah, we always like information for what we can do. And submitting personal plot requests we enjoy doing.
And updating your backstories, not a bad idea.
Yep.
I've actually been thinking about that because I wrote mine like year 1, and my characters have changed a lot since then.
Hey, at least you wrote a background.
Yeah. What national/local factions will likely disappear in? Well, first of all, we have absolutely zero say over national factions.
Yeah.
The next part, the local factions, actually, that is a question that every single player can give their input on. We need that input. If you feel like the Misery Bay subway, which was our version of the Underground Railroad, doesn't need to exist in the New World, then cool. If you feel like that there's a need for them to come and transition into the new UN of the Riverlands to adjudicate disputes and become a new organization that potentially players can be a part of, and sit upon this great diplomatic adjudicating force. Hey, cool. That's cool too.
If I may, Dave.
Sure.
I think I'm echoing on Truitt's. Anyway, just remember, everyone, that this is not an AMA. This is a town hall. We want your guys' input on where we are going to take this story, not necessarily you guys asking us where we're going to take it. We want to find out where you want to go.
Yeah.
Which is what the Google Doc is for. It is pinned in both of these things.
Yes.
Let's see. Trying to see where we were at.
I think Steph's question is next, and I would say, hey, Truitt.
Yeah, hey, Truitt.
Give me a second. I'm reading up on it again because it's changed.
That's real.
So, sort of the way it works with the new CVC, your character, my character, we bump heads. Me inquiring, I say conflict. Do you want to escalate this situation? If you say yes, we escalate it into non-lethal CVC. If you say no, we work together to de-escalate. Now, regardless of how that happened, it is those two people flagging both each other for conflict and retaliation. So, the only time you should be worrying on if somebody else is flagged is if you go to engage them in the conflict. So then you would be flagging them and yourself. So like, let's say there's a doctor next to you. They get in a conflict with one of the fighters. They fight it out. Your character wants to get involved. You turn to the fighter. You say conflict. And then you two work.
What are the best paths for players to learn about the environment post 3.0 given the local education changes?
Answered that.
What?
I answered that.
Okay. Yeah, well, let me add a little bit more into that. I also want your input about the environment, about the area around Crystal Creek. Does the lake need to be irradiated, or do we need to have clean water? Yeah.
There is no lore to cover local area like you're talking about. There's that lore doesn't exist anymore. You'll have to do like role play in game to learn that stuff, share knowledge.
Wheel and deal the knowledge.
Yep. There may or may not be books written about our local setting. Again, that's an option that got unlocked during the Kickstarter, but we don't know how that system will work. So
So there is one small part of that is that a tiny bit of lore local is covered under post-fall history.
Cool.
Curtis, we haven't really asked that question, but if my answer to that would be no. We don't talk about advanced professions at all. Can we flood the Lasky Caves and turn it into cavern?
You already did that, and y'all already suffered the consequences for it, and y'all
I
are
think
still
he means
suffering.
flooding them with people.
Funny you should mention that. I have a concept in my head and plans in my head of creating underground caverns that potentially could be played in.
Dave, I am not building that.
Thank
No,
God.
I'm building that.
No.
Also, they have been flooded with water, and y'all are still suffering the consequences.
It's true. Did anybody answer Curtis's question about advanced profession applications?
Yes, Dave.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I was reading something else. Thank you.
Yeah, I put in there. We don't, like I say, I don't talk about the advanced profession applications that happened.
I just needed to know it got answered.
Okay.
I don't know. I figured you answered it
JJ,
correctly.
read the book.
Yeah, actually, if you want to, say the collective players decide they still want to have an, and you want to know why the lake is irradiated, by all means, submit a personal plot request to go and find this out. Now, when you're looking at and when you're thinking of doing these, one thing to remember is 9% of these personal plot requests are not going to leave Crystal Creek. Why? Because we're not really supposed to leave Crystal Creek. It's very difficult for us to try and FISREP another location without actually moving people to another location like we're doing in August. So, well, shit. I'm cutting out a lot
I told you your headset was dying.
You were warned, Dave.
I have no idea what you were even answering.
It was
David, questions about PPRs for requests for.
Yeah. Basically, if you're doing a request for information, do a in Crystal Creek why something has happened. Are you saying all the local knowledge that we already have is wiped out? We're starting from scratch. If the collective players decide that they want to wipe out all local knowledge and build a brand new setting, then yes. If the players decide they want to keep all of the local knowledge that we have and continue off with that, then we will continue. This is part of the co-creation process. I want you to help me build. I mean, shoot, if I could grab a bunch of you, bring you over here, sit you in front of me, and start telling me how we needed to build the next generation of Crystal Creek, we can do this.
They say that they're losing about 3/4 of what you're saying at this point, Dave.
You've got to swap headsets or something.
My headset is powered.
The base might be powered, Dave. Does it tell you what the battery on your actual headset is? Okay. He's moving stuff around. Hang on, guys.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear that? Sorry. I was digging through drawers.
Okay. Is this any better?
Yes.
You probably have to talk longer, but yes.
Well, okay. Let's see. So, did everyone get the answer of the local knowledge, whether or not it's wiped out or not?
Not really.
Okay, then yeah, that is up to the players. And this is if we want to build a new Crystal Creek that is non-irradiated. These are the things I need from you to help. Specific topics should be avoided when compiling these requests for informations. Stuff that would have you traveling away from, not traveling to another existing.
Donald.
What am I cutting out again?
Yes. See if you can adjust your sensitivity on Discord to make yourself to make it pick you up a little bit, because I think you're cutting out because of the volume.
I've never told him he was a quiet person.
All right, well.
And just as comparison, I always have Dave at 200% volume because Discord makes him very quiet.
Yeah.
Same though.
Discord has trouble differentiating between low volume and low frequency. So lower voices tend to get picked up less.
Stand by. We are experiencing technical difficulties.
Please stand by.
Do you want me to answer some of these while Dave's working on that?
I mean, if you can.
Is it still not working, Dave? No. Yeah. Go ahead, Truett.
Okay, so any specific topics that we should be avoiding when compiling these requests for infos? First off, anything that's against the community guidelines. Second, anything outside of our zone. So anything outside of Crystal Creek, we will need to make sure to not ask information about, because that's not something we get to decide anymore as far as what the story is and what's actually there. That is something that the company working on the books gets to decide with DRLLC. Next question: will a new evil group to be the biggest threat for a bunch of games? Let's find out together. Yeah.
Together?
Together.
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 Forever and ever?
Forever.
Okay, so I'm going to make a wild suggestion here, and you employees can, knock some sense into me if you want to. But for 15 minutes, for almost 2 hours, they have listened to us talk and asked us questions and then typed stuff on the document for us. They have definitely participated. What do you think about unmuting everybody for the last 15 minutes of our lives?
As long as they promise to not deliberately talk over each other.
To
Or I'll
try.
break your little leggies.
Yeah, to do their best to not talk over each other.
And all your fucking leggies are little compared to mine.
Don't break their little leggies, Truett.
I protest.
They need those
I think my legs are
leggies.
just as long as yours, Truett.
They are not.
Also, they need those
My
leggies
legs.
so that I can mangle them later.
My legs are sharper than yours, Truett.
But they're little.
Okay, Dave is restarting Discord, hoping that will have an effect.
Yes, JJ. My legs are long. I have a small torso.
He has legs for days and days. No, you do not have a small torso.
I have a small torso compared to my ratio on other men.
Okay, Dave, do you have any objection to us unmuting the heathens?
And yes, I can break their legs. I have specifically studied breaking legs.
All right, Truett, unmute the heathens.
All right, here we go.
Release them!
I'm going to do it in the other way that I was originally to. This is a pain in the ass. Wish I could just highlight all and unmute.
If only.
Is there
I
not
have, like-
like a?
If there was, Truett would have found it by now.
That's true. That's super true. That's why I stopped asking.
I mean, there might be. I haven't looked in this specific instance, but I have a semi-effective route for this.
And if you guys end up having like a lot of background noise or something, pretty please mute yourselves after you get unmuted by the Truett.
Until you start talking.
Yeah.
Wait.
Or I'll
Well then.
break
I
your
just got
little
quacked
legs.
at.
Okay.
And
How do you feel about that?
middle of the road kind of.
Okay.
But it was a quack of love though. So like, you gotta understand.
Quack.
Wow. It's the true love quack.
Oh,
People
okay.
here, Dave. Oh no.
Okay, what about a Crystal Creek princess party?
Yes.
Princess
They had that at one
party?
point. Well, no, that was
Well,
Homecoming.
let's do it
Slightly
again. I was
different.
here for that.
That is all day, every day.
Homecoming.
You are a
I-
princess.
I missed
am
homecoming
the
because we were
biggest
having a family
princess.
discussion. We literally went outside to discuss, and then they slammed the door shut, and we were locked out.
Oof.
What the heck, people?
That
Quack.
was rude.
Krista, it was
Bet you
you.
can't
Not
break
working
my
at all?
leggies. I'll beat you up, Truett.
Do it. I'll video that fight, Enid.
Eat our corn.
I think Dave just doesn't want to come back to the conversation. He's done.
I
Don't
mean,
worry
He's
about it.
trying, I promise.
Frickin' setting. It just means Tuskland is frickin' wasteland.
You could break noodles.
Break the leggy. Break your
Enid
leggy.
said he would fight Truett.
I mean, I will pay to see that any day.
So would
I
I.
would too.
Who wouldn't pay to see that? Jeez.
Wait, am I
Bring
unmuted
ice
too?
cream.
Yes, you're unmuted, Trevor.
While you were busy
Shit, I mute-
studying to break leggies,
Well, no, I
was busy
muted
studying the
myself, and
blade.
actually I moved over to my phone because my laptop fan needs to get replaced, so I'm like knuckles deep in my laptop.
That'd be like watching a chipmunk fight a grizzly bear.
Except that
Okay,
the grizzly bear is
anyway.
bored.
Poke it with a stick.
But I thought I was still muted. What's up, guys?
Hi, Trevor. How's it
No.
going?
Okay, so
I'm
like,
surrounded
what
by computer
what
bits,
if
and I'm
the
afraid to
sequ-
put stuff down and mute myself again.
if
It's okay. We enjoy your presence.
Thanks.
We love you. I
what if the
love you so
secret of the
much.
dirty lake from Mario Sunshine happens? The lake gets dirty, and
Wait,
then it
present?
turns out, you know, the
Yes.
secret of the dirty lake. Except it
I'm-
was like getting to the secret was the hardest part. But what if a secret of the dirty lake happened?
I swear I will eventually get headphones that work.
Wait.
Caroline,
Yes.
I got a new pathology book.
Woo.
Oh, this is going to be so much fun.
Hey, whoever gives Caroline ideas, I'm oversalting their pasta.
That's
Ashley,
rude.
just say
I
shush.
like salty pasta.
I'm
this
sorry.
is gonna work out well.
You children behave.
No, I'm
Rude.
sorry. I was
But
telling my
no.
sister to shush, not you guys.
I mean, that's fine. Like, we deserve to be told to be shushed, like, often.
No, not you
Yeah,
guys. I was telling
all
my
of you.
sister that.
All of you should.
I'm just saying, we still deserve it.
Oh, okay.
I did
Bunch of
ask another
gremlins.
question.
Go
The
for it.
crafting stations and stuff are communal.
Yep.
Will the medical bay stuff be communal?
There is no medical
What
bay.
if someone decided to craft clothes?
There's
I
actually a
mean-
section in the book, Jenny.
Yeah.
Find it.
Regarding Steph, we don't know if there's going to be blueprints that pertain to medbays in 3.0. We still have not seen the 3.0 blueprints, so it may be in there. But as far as communal crafting stations, there is not a medical station.
Meh, I feel nerfed enough already.
We're not that bad off.
Can you guys hear Dave?
It's nerf
No.
for nothing.
Cannot.
Hey, guys,
No.
shh, just one
Cannot.
second, please. Guys?
We cannot hear Dave.
Nope. Is Dave muted?
Oh
No.
no.
Nope, you're not muted. They can't hear you. Thank you, guys. Continue talking.
Please eat our corn. We will sacrifice your unborn.
No.
Please not that again, Jenny. Please not.
I feel like that's not quite a thing in Crystal Creek anyway, though.
Yeah, it's not. There's not much corn in the South. That's all up in Fields of Iron.
No, it's a meme. I was just literally watching a meme right now.
Corn.
Oh, okay.
You know the meme corn where the guy was dressed up in the corn.
The corn is for Nemesis.
Ah, yes, Equinox. I remember.
We don't talk about Equinox.
I don't know why I keep thinking about what if disease plots happen only because Ribbits can't die of disease. But we can
Yeah, no, everybody was screaming about the disease plots, so I'm just kind of laughing at my house going, I'm a mutant. I can't die from that.
Everyone else is just sitting here dying. I'm just like, this is fine.
It would still suck.
As long
But
as
like,
you're
come
not
on, guys, it's
dying.
not gonna kill you.
I have thought back to your grasping the
I
Crystal
just
Creek
have this image
mentality of all
of this
things.
poor mutant, like surrounded by their dead friends that are slowly sinking into the grave mind because they can't die, but they have to watch all of their friends die.
Oh man, it's Paul's entire life.
So I have 3.0 question/comment. If we are going to be expanding Gravemind stuff, does that mean that where we run scenes will be moved?
Excellent
to y'all to
question that I
decide.
haven't figured out yet.
Okay.
What was the question?
If we're going to be moving where we do Gravemind scenes.
Yeah, unclear.
That whole scene you described can't be accurate anyway. Remnants don't have friends.
They do in 3.0.
Oh,
We have
I
friends
see.
in
Coral and,
3.0.
So,
Coral and
town-wise,
Bud just aren't friends. I see how it is.
There
Coral
be
and
a-
Boomer weren't friends either.
there be a faction that moves back out to TP?
If you guys want to be out there, yeah. That's up to players.
Yeah.
Oh, please.
Long walks.
You don't have to be out there. Just people
Said
have to
you
be out
had to
there.
join us.
Will there be anywhere that's specifically NPC land, or is the whole camp open now?
There will always be certain areas that are listed as NPC land for various reasons, like it might be too unsafe for you guys to go out there, it might be outside the property, we might just need that space for NPCs to come from. There will always be NPC areas, it's just unclear what those will be in future.
A lot of the NPCs will be coming from the wasteland areas.
Dave, we've missed you
So, like, what is
Huh?
the
They can hear you now.
wasteland? Like, is it scary? Is there radiation? Is there, like, pickles?
So the idea of the wasteland area in 3.0 is that it is the bad side of town. It is where you don't want to get caught alone. Beyond that, it's up to you guys.
Yeah.
Fight me in the wildy, bro.
So it's that one alley that your parents say don't go in, and then
Yeah,
your
exactly.
toy falls in it, and now you have to go there and get it.
Exactly. It's that one shortcut that your parents keep telling you not to take home, and then one time you're really late and you decide to take it.
It's literally the wilderness from RuneScape.
Yes.
Yeah.
It really is.
Question on the CVC. I know it's clarified that lethal CVC required a marshal. Does that include wasteland theft CVC?
I was about to ask that question.
Have y'all read the book?
Yes.
I have been working a shit ton, so honestly, not really. I've barely been able to skip.
That's fine. That question is answered in the book. whenever you get around to reading it.
All theft requires the guide.
Yes.
I'm
My concern is that CVC requires 4 hours in game to play, like 4 hours playing in game before you can do CVC, but a disagreement can cause CVC, which flags you for CVC automatically.
Only if both players agree to it.
Yes, but if I'm shouting at my character is getting upset about something and is about to start shouting at them, like for example, what happened at last game with the kettle bottom and them wanting to put the doctors at the doors and stuff like that. If I had to walk up to every single person and go conflict, I would never have gotten anything done because my character was absolutely furious. And I know I shouted at Curtis, which I apologize for, and other people and stuff.
It's just going to start requiring some steering.
Yeah.
It's going to be a change for all of us. Like, think about how many times I heard in people's faces. I'm going to have to keep it more in mind. It's going to require a lot of change from a lot of us.
Yeah, I just feel like every conversation you walk up, I just feel like every conversation it's going to be walk up and immediately go conflict before any conversation, before any trade deal, before anything.
I mean, if every one of your conversations is an argument, then yeah, that's how it's going to be.
It's like
well, you never know when it's going to devolve into an argument.
And when it starts to devolve into an argument is when you start checking in with people. It's very.
It's not.
Do us a favor and reread that section in the book. There's the reading of the book, and then you apply the common sense, the reasonable person argument.
Do we get
Are we still keeping the OK check-in system?
Oh my!
I have not heard anything that takes the OK check-in system out of play.
I see this from Nemo that say mine, but instead they say conflict.
Mine?
I actually have a technical question regarding that.
Regarding the OK check-in system?
No, the whole conflict with conversation.
Okay, what's your question?
How does that work when you're mute?
Well, I guess you're not going to be yelling at anybody.
A lot of exasperated hand gestures.
Yeah.
Don't you exasperate at me. I did not agree to that.
If you could find the sign for conflict, sign language maybe?
Oh, the conflict has a signal. It's he's talking
also,
that his character is mute.
If your character is mute, you saying conflict is not a verbal component of the conversation. That is Oren checking in with the other player, not Bud checking in with the other character.
No, but I'm saying it's like the only time that I would go into that sort of situation is when it's about to get physical, because otherwise I'm like, I can't actually yell at this person.
You can still scold or get aggressive with hand gestures and with sign language.
Just angrily writing the whole time.
It sounds like something Bubble did to
I was told that is not very very intimidating, the angry scribbling.
Yeah, but think of all the benefits that this system is going to bring about. Say you've had a bad day and you just want to you've had a bad month. Work has been hell, and you just want to come to game and you want to hang out with some friends and you want to role play, and that's it. If people are going to come to you and they want to kill you, you can just be like, look, I really don't want to get into this now. Next month, by all means, we can get together and we can try to murder each other's brains out. But this month, why not? Hey, throw me a beat down. I'll get back up. I'll heal myself, and we can let this go a month.
Okay, guys, it is 9, and I know I am fading fast. So
go sleep, my lovely. I love you so much.
Yep, I love you guys. I'm going to give you until tomorrow morning for editing on that doc, and then I'm going to put the survey out probably tomorrow afternoon or evening.
I appreciate you, Art Mom.
So make sure that you spread the word to get all of your Arkansas attendee friends to give input on that doc. It is pinned in both the question and the discussion channel.
A quick question for myself that just walked in.
Hey, Jay.
What is the doc?
Oh, sorry. It's a Google Doc that's got 4 different kind of sections for the very foundation of our setting to get your input on what you, the player, wants to see moving forward. It's just us collecting information. It's a pinned post in both the town hall discussion text channel and the town hall questions text channel.
Okay.
And for all of
I see
you,
it now.
yeah, for all of you, if
Thanks.
there are other questions you want to add to this document, please add questions. This is not so much our document. This is your document.
We're just hosting it.
Yeah. There are ideas, questions, and concepts that you have that we haven't thought of yet. So
Be able to update this tomorrow, right? As we think about things.
I'm gonna give you until I get to work in the morning, and then I'm locking it.
Can we not do that? It's 9:00 at night. I had a long ass day, and I have some things that I'd really like to add to it. My brain is mush.
Man, you too?
Yeah, it's been a day.
Do we want to give them all of tomorrow, 9 to 5?
Give us till 5:00 tomorrow. Something that we can have more, because so many conversations happen during right now. I've got a slew of notes that I want to go to bed because I'm an old princess who needs to go to bed.
Yeah, and we don't want him grumpy for this weekend.
That's your problem, not mine.
Look,
Oh,
I can make it your problem.
Oh, Beth, my love.
hey, she has a stun flashlight now.
I do. Thank you, Dave.
Are you threatening me?
Dave is the one that mentioned the stun gun. I had other plans.
Yeah. Which me and Steven proceeded to tase ourselves with.
Yeah, Steven heard I had that, was like, hey, when you get that charged, can you tase me?
Oh my god. Of course he did.
How well did it work?
It was a pinch.
Okay.
I did not test it on myself because I am a weenie.
Well, why would they ask for that? That hurts like blazes.
I've been tased. It's not fun. Don't do it. Yeah, fine.
They asked for it
5
because
p.m. tomorrow, Curtis.
Thank you, ma'am. That gives me plenty of time to take notes to actual conversation that's useful.
Yep.
Yeah, whoever asked about why getting tased, because they might look into getting a stun gun, and a lot of people want to know what that feels like before using it on someone else. Some kind of humanitarian thing.
Also, there is a difference between tasing and stun gunning somebody. That's a very important difference.
Yeah, it is not a taser, it is a stun gun.
Love you all night.
Yeah.
Good night.
I think I'm going to stick around for a little while.
Dave, I need to talk to you about a thing. So
Okay.
I've been pinged.
It does not have to be immediately, but if you're sticking around on Discord, I might as well grab you.
Yeah,
I would like to say thank you, all you employees who are doing this for us. You guys are putting in a lot of extra time. Really appreciate you guys. We love you. Thank you so much.
I'll catch you later.
I appreciate all the feedback that everyone is giving to 4.0, and I'm hoping I get just as much feedback concerning our local setting of what everyone wants.
Yeah. Death to Pods. There's some great feedback right there.
Okay. No. I got it now. Guys, I figured it out.
What?
I think the Gravemind's favorite restaurant has to be Froyo. I mean, it's frozen yogurt. Come on, man.
No.
Telling
The
you.
Gravemind's favorite food is California Reapers.
Like the pepper.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
I have a good hot sauce that's California Reaper and black garlic.
Ooh. Sounds pungent.
It's amazing.
Yep. I did not come home from my travels.
You cut out, Dave.
No. I did not come home from any of my travels with hot sauce.
What?
For shame.
Nor did I come home from any of my travels with moonshine.
For shame. You were all over Tennessee, Dave.
Yeah, I know.
I can fix the moonshine part.
I mean, to be fair, I got the Reaper and Black Garlic at the hot sauce place in Hot Springs.
That one that Dave always brags about?
The Evilo, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're gonna be driving through there. We'll figure. See if we
It's
can stop.
downtown. Stop by. It's amazing.
Okay. Bye, recording.
Goodbye.